Let's humble ourselves and pray. Almighty God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for everything. Thank you that you are here for this lesson. Fathers are going to learn English today. May you enable us to understand, and above all, may your will be done in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Bridget, for that beautiful prayer. And for sure, may God be our guide throughout the lesson. So, I saw through what Teacher Winnie went through last week. Maybe could we quickly remind ourselves what we did last week? By show of hands, you can raise your hand and tell us what okay, so someone is saying we are all muted and mute us, but if I unmute you, kindly behave and make sure that you don't make noise. Hopefully you can now unmute yourself. Who is sharing their screen? So now can you people unmute yourselves? I don't know whether I have unlocked. Has it been a yes, Amara Muhezi? Members, can you unmute yourselves? Is it possible?
Let me check.
So let me check the settings.
Yes, madam.
Oh.
Yes. I don't understand.
Now you have unmuted us. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
If you shout, they'll be hearing you. Excuse me.
Okay, just what's popping?
Excuse me, teacher. Good afternoon. How are you? Can you hear me?
Madam, you're breaking.
Yes, madam. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Teacher, you can allow me to comment. Okay. So, good afternoon, class. The last lesson we were in for English, I remember specifically teacher when he was trying to, she was teaching us a topic within English, which was about childhood memories. So we talked about the different experiences we had as children, the different moments or embarrassing moments that we experienced as we were growing up. And she told us to narrate some of the stories from our childhood memories. And one of the stories I can narrate was my first day going to school. because the first day of school was kind of interesting and very intriguing, because as I went through it, I was not much of a talker by that time. I was very quiet with my words, because I was having this language, I would say like language barrier, because mommy and daddy were speaking two different languages. So it was a very confusing moment. So I was quiet. So they were worried. Will he really make friends? Will he talk? But I remember the first day of school I had joined, you know how you can be like, mommy, I don't want to go, but I had to go. So I went, met different teachers. At first, the experience was not much that I wanted to expect or what I wanted it. Really, I didn't want it, but it was very good to me. It taught me that in life, mommy and daddy are not always going to be there. You have to eventually grow up. And that first experience for me as a child, to take that leap to first leave mommy and daddy just for like just 6 hours not to be with them, taught me a lot, because by that experience, now it had come to secondary, which really opened up my eyes for me. But back to the main point as I was narrating this story. So I joined school for the first time. I was 4 years old. It was a good experience. I enjoyed, I finished. And yeah, and gold nugget for me from all of that experience was getting to make new friends, getting to meet new people, and getting confidence in myself. Yeah, that is what mainly Teacher Winnie was trying to emphasize on those points. She was just trying to enable us to narrate certain things or childhood experiences that we had gone through as we were growing up. So Teacher Christine, I don't know if you're still there.
Thank you, Muhezi. Yes, I am still here. I have heard.
Oh, teacher, thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope I have answered in what I could answer, really.
Yeah, you have. And thank you so much for that beautiful experience. You have such a beautiful experience.
Okay, teacher, thank you so much for the
Okay. Okay, let me see whether we have any other hand up. Okay, we have no hand up. So thank you so much. So that was just a recap of what you did last week with Teacher Winnie. And I know that Teacher Winnie mentioned that as you go to S3, the first topic you're going to look at is childhood memories. And it has so many, there are so many topics that fall under, subtopics that fall under childhood memories, which we'll go through. I think in your next lesson, Teacher Winnie will continue with childhood memories. But for now, I am just going to pick an aspect of writing from childhood memories. And we are going to look at writing an official letter or a formal letter. So that is what we shall look at in today's lesson. Then Teacher Winnie will continue with childhood memories, but I think the next thing she was supposed to look at is a biography and an autobiography. And in that lesson, you look at the difference between a biography and an autobiography. Maybe look at different biographies and different autobiographies of the different people and know how to go about them. So I am going to share my screen. I don't know, Hannah. Hannah, can you hear me? Either Hannah or I'm seeing Patricia. Patricia, are we together?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so you people, you kindly help me with the hands and any other questions that will be sent in the chat. Any other thing that will come through in the chat. So kindly help me with that. And if people are misbehaving, if they are chatting unnecessarily, we are also allowed to close the chat. Okay, So I will share my screen. So Hannah, Patricia, can you see my screen?
Yes, teacher, I can see a screen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are looking at writing a formal letter, and we are going to look at we are going to clearly see the format of writing a formal letter. I know that many of you have been messing up when it comes to the format and all that, but at least by the end of this lesson, all of us really should acquaint ourselves with the right format of writing an official letter. So I'll start. Maybe let me first start. What is a formal letter, class? What is a formal letter, or what is an official letter?
Miriam,
Do you have
unmute.
hands up?
Yes, teacher.
A formal letter is a letter addressed to an official personnel or a person owning an office.
Okay. And the hand? Any other hand?
Tasha, unmute.
Okay. A formal letter is a letter which allows specific format and is used for official and professional purposes.
Okay. I think we can have that too. Thank you so much for your responses. Maybe we can have someone read that screen. What do we have on the screen?
Grace, Shayla, unmute and read.
A formal letter is a professional letter which is written in formal language in a prescribed format and in a splitted format.
In a stipulated format.
Stipulated format.
Kindly read again.
Trevor, okay, Trevor, please read.
A formal letter is a professional letter which is written in formal language in a prescribed format and in the stipulated format. This type of letter is written to inform officers, branches, subordinates of official information. It is usually short as compared to the informal letter.
Okay. Thank you so much, Trevor. So when you look at a formal letter or an official letter, clearly we are told that it is written in a formal, it is a professional letter which is written in a formal language. I know as per now, most of you know what a formal language is. In a prescribed format, which we are going to see, and in a stipulated format. So the format is prescribed and stipulated. You just don't come up with your own format and be like, this is an official letter. There's a format that is already there that we are supposed to follow. And we are also told that this type of letter is written to inform offices, branches, subordinates of official communication, of official information. Not just any other information, but it has to be official information. And we are told that this is usually short as compared to the informal letter. So I hope you're making some notes so that at least you're able to follow. So that is what a formal letter is. So we are going to look at the different types of formal letters. There are different types of formal letters, but I know majority of you just know the application letter. But we have other types of formal letters. Could we have someone read what we have on the screen?
Grace, unmute and read.
Types of formal letters: letter of inquiry, order letter, letter of complaint, application letters, apology letter, promotion letter, sales letter, recovery letter.
Well, thank you so much. So those are just a few types of formal letters. We have other types, but the major types are these. So some of you have been asked in your schools, for instance, to write an apology letter. So an apology letter is an official letter or a formal letter, and you need to use the right, as in you need to use the right format to write an apology letter. So it depends. At times you can actually write an apology to a friend. That doesn't make it an official letter, or that doesn't make it a formal letter. Then we have formal letters. So we have apology letters that are formal and informal. For instance, let me say Patricia, maybe Patricia forgot to wake Hannah up in the morning, maybe to go for morning prep. And then maybe Hannah gets so pissed. She gets so pissed, and Patricia decides to write an apology letter to her. So that is what we call an informal apology letter or a friendly apology letter. But for instance, your house mistress or your head or your house father notices that maybe you didn't attend prep, maybe you are in the dorm sleeping, and then asks you to explain the reason why you are not in class for prep. So there you will have to write an official letter or a formal letter explaining yourself and apologizing on why you are not in class for prep. So that is not the difference in that when you're writing to a friend, maybe you're writing to your mother, you use the informal format. But when you're writing to someone in authority, you use the official format. Okay, so those are just a few types of formal letters. So before I go to the format of the formal letter, do we have any questions so far? Anything in the chat? Do we have anything?
No. No, teacher, we don't.
Any hand up?
No.
Okay, so let's continue. So let's look at the format. So the format is that the first thing we have the sender's address. And the sender's address, could someone read for us what we have there?
Esther, please unmute and read.
Sender's address, always on the right hand side. It should slant, should be in small letters, well punctuated.
Thank you so much. So when you look at the sender's address, we say that the sender's address should always be on the right-hand side. And then the other thing that it should always slant. I know as per now, you know what slanting means. And it should always be in small letters. Avoid using capital letters when it comes to writing that address. It should be well punctuated. We are going to see after I have gone through the format, we are going to go through a sample letter, a sample formal letter, and see what we mean by being well punctuated. In that, you should have, where there is a comma, you should put the comma. Where there is a full stop, you should put the full stop. Okay, let's continue. After the sender's address, what comes immediately is the date. Can we have someone read for us what we have on the screen? Anyone?
Yes, teacher. The date should be well punctuated. It comes immediately after the sender's address. A line can be skipped. You won't be penalized. Iggy, 14th December, 2024.
Okay, thank you so much. So when it comes to the date should be well punctuated. And we also see that it comes immediately after the sender's address. A line can be skipped. No one will penalize you for skipping a line. So you can either skip the line or just go to the next, line. So the right format for writing a date is as seen below. Like that is 14th December, 2024, full stop. So the TH should be on the same line as 14. But some of you put the TH up there, which is the wrong format. Are we together, class?
Yes.
Patricia, are we together? Can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So I hope that you'll not make the same mistake of putting the TH, whether it's TH, whether it's RD up there, but it should be always on the same line as the day and the months. Okay, so after the date, we move to what we call the receiver's address. Can we have someone read what we have on the screen?
Tasha.
Okay. Receiver's address. The receiver's address is always on the left-hand side. Do not skip a line. Write it on the next line after the sender's address. It should be in block format. You should use small letters and it should be well punctuated.
Wow. Thank you so much. Okay, so class, when we look at the receiver's address, just like we've said, that the receiver's address is always on the left-hand side. And we should not skip a line after, because most of you, as teacher, can we skip a line after writing the sender's address when we are going to the receiver's address? No, you're not supposed to skip any line. So you write it on the next line after the sender's address, and then use the block format. I know as per now, you know what a block format is. So use a block format. Also use small letters. The same thing I said about the sender's address. You should use small letters, and then it should also be well punctuated. Well punctuated. We are going to see what we mean by being well punctuated, because for us to punctuate our date, we need to use commas and full stop. So are you using a comma? Are you using a full stop where you're supposed to use? That is what we mean by being well punctuated. Maybe we can have someone read the next slide.
Salutation. One can use Dear Mrs. Chelangat Christine, Dear Sir. Do not use Dear Sir or Madam.
Okay. Thank you so much. So when it comes, so immediately after the receiver's address, we have what we call salutation. This is now where you greet the person you're writing to. So you can either say, Dear Mrs. Chelangat Christine, or maybe Dear Miss, maybe Joanita Namubiru, or maybe Dear Miss, wherever person that you're writing to. Or you can say, Dear Sir. And after that, of course, you should also punctuate it, whereby at the end you have a comma. So you should also punctuate it by using a comma. Do not use Dear Sir or Madam. Some people, the reason why we say is because one cannot be male and female. So it's either you're addressing a man or a woman. So if you're not sure about the person you're writing to, you just say, Dear Sir. No one will penalize you for that. But if you know the name of the person that you're writing to, kindly use the name of the person. And then the reason why some people find the word Madam offensive, you look after this lesson, you can research and look for the meaning of that word Madam. So it is a word that has multiple meanings, but people find that word very offensive. So we discourage our students from using the word Dear Madam, but just say Dear Sir. Okay, and then after that, what we have is what we call the reference. Could we have someone read that?
Heather.
Yes,
Heather,
yes,
I'm
madam.
Reference. Can you hear me?
You are breaking a little.
The reference should be in capital letters and not underlined. E.g., RE, application for a job as a doctor.
Yes, you can.
Have you had?
Yes, we've
Welcome.
had you.
Thank you.
Thank you too. So the reference should be in capital letters and not underlined. So, like for instance, RE, the E should be in small letters. Application for a job as a doctor, that is in capital letters. So kindly, when you use capital letters, you don't underline. When you underline, it's kind of double punctuation. So just write it in capital letters and leave it like that. I hope that's clear. So after the reference, we have the introduction. And could someone read that?
The first paragraph should be the introduction. Clearly state the reason for writing it. Should be intended.
Okay, it should be indented. I hope you know what indenting your paragraphs are, but we're also going to look at indenting paragraphs when we look at the sample letter. But we are told that the first paragraph should be the introduction. For instance, you say that I hereby apologize for coming late to class. That is already an introduction. So your introduction has to be very brief. Or if you're applying for a job, you can say that I hereby apply for a job as a nurse in your hospital. You can even go ahead and say that maybe I saw an advertisement in New Vision, maybe 19th February 2028. So that is a brief introduction. You don't have to say a lot when you're introducing. Just go straight to the point. Why have you written? Why are you writing or why are you writing that particular letter? Then after that, we have what we call the body. Could someone read for us what you have there?
Further.
The body should entail your details, e.g., qualification, experience, why you think you are the best candidate for a job, etc. Don't forget to indent your paragraphs.
Well, thank you so much. So it's the same thing when it comes to the body. Kindly go straight to your qualification. What did you qualify? Are you maybe did you qualify with a bachelor's degree in nursing? For how long have you worked? You can even say maybe I have worked in Mulago Hospital for 4 years. And I believe that the experience I had in Mulago Hospital makes me the best candidate for this position. You see, you've already put your experience. Then why do you think you're the best candidate for the job? Maybe because of your experience. You can talk about you're maybe a very big team player, or you love teamwork a lot, or you have excellent communication skills. Talk about what makes you the best candidate for the job. Because remember, when you apply for a job, you're not the only one who has applied for that job. There are so many people applying for the same job. So you have to stand out. You have to stand out for you to be given the opportunity, or for you to be given that particular job. And then I will not forget to say that you should indent your paragraphs. Some of you love using the block format, or some of you love skipping lines when you're writing your paragraphs. Class, no. Actually, with the new curriculum, we give a mark for the paragraph. I know that you've noticed that as your teachers are marking, they always have F for format when it comes to the writing. They have F for format, in most cases, F carries 2 marks. We have the title and the paragraphs. So if your paragraphs are not indented, or if you have skipped a line, then it means that you lose a mark. I hope we are together. Class, are we together?
Yes.
Hannah, Patricia, are you there?
Yes, madam.
Am I teaching myself?
No, teacher, we are here and we understand.
Okay. I might be here thinking I'm teaching, yet I am here teaching myself. So I am happy that you're in class. So kindly don't forget that. And then we go to conclusion. Can anyone read for us what we have?
Peach, please unmute.
Okay, a conclusion. You conclude by promising to do your best if given an opportunity, e.g., I look forward to working with your company.
Thank you so much. So here you promise to do your best if you're given an opportunity to work in that particular company. Okay, sorry, I was taking some water. So I was saying that here you promise to do your best if you're given an opportunity to work in that particular organization, company, or if you're given an opportunity, maybe if you're forgiven, maybe you are writing a recovery letter, you can talk about that maybe I request that you forgive me and I will never repeat that mistake again. You see, at least it shows that you're remorseful and that you'll not do the same mistake again. Okay, after that, we have what we call signing off. Actually, under signing off, I am supposed to add something here that you sign off at the right-hand side. Class, I repeat that you sign off at the right-hand side. And then, maybe let me just, as I add, then you need to include wow. Okay, I think I'll just say it. I don't know why my phone is, let me just go to done. Edit. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to edit, but you're supposed to have yours sincerely, or you're supposed to use yours faithfully. Then you have your name in small letters. Wow. So that is the signature. After your name in small letters, you have your name in capital letters. And then, depending on what you're writing, you can have the title. We are going to see this when we look at the sample. In capital letter. So we are going to see this when you look at the sample what? When you look at the sample letter. Okay. So signing off. So if you had mentioned the name of the person during salutation, I repeat, for instance, you had said, "Dear Mrs. Chelangat Christine," when you're signing off, use yours sincerely. If you had used the person's name, use yours sincerely when you're signing off. If you had used "Dear Sir," you use yours faithfully. So "Dear Sir" goes with yours faithfully. The name of the person goes with yours sincerely. And then you need to also punctuate it well. Only the first letter should be capitalized. The letter Y is the one that is supposed to be capitalized. Yours faithfully, comma. Yours faithfully, comma. Maybe Chelangat Christine in small letters. And then you have Chelangat Christine in capital letters. If it is an apology letter, you can write a title. If you're applying for a job, you don't need to write a title. So I will repeat, class, that if you had mentioned the name of the person during salutation, you use yours sincerely. If you had used "Dear Sir," use yours faithfully. Only the first letter should be capitalized. That is the letter Y. Then you need to punctuate it well, of course, by saying yours faithfully, comma, or yours sincerely, comma, your name in small letters, name in capital letters, and then the title, if need be. So the name in small letters there signifies the signature. So if you don't have a signature, you use your name in small letters. If you have a signature, you just sign and then write your name in capital letters, and then that is it. Okay. And then a few things to note is that you need to pay attention to language. I know that your teachers have mentioned things to do with tense, punctuation, spellings, sentence construction, vocabulary, impression, and idioms. So if you get all the marks for language, because language carries a lot of marks. So if you get all the marks for language, then you're able to really perform very well when it comes to writing. So that is what we call language. So some of you use the wrong tense, you don't get a mark. If we get more than maybe three punctuation errors, 3 spelling errors, you don't get a mark. So always make sure that now whatever word you're using, you need to know the spelling very well. Then when you look at sentence construction, are you able to use a variety of sentences? Are you able to use the direct speech? Are you able to use indirect speech? Are you able to use what sentences have you looked at in S2? Are you able to apply compound words? Are you able to apply adjectives? Are you able to apply nouns? You know, we look at that. Then you look at vocabulary. Are you going out of the box to not just giving us basic words, but looking for good vocabulary, like new words? So for you to make your writing good, you need to look for new words to make your writing appetizing. So that is what we call vocabulary. Look at idioms. Are you able to use idioms well? Are you able to use similes very well? Are you able to use metaphors? Are you able to use proverbs? All that come under impression. So you need to be able to convince the examiner that you're good, so that you get all the marks that you deserve. So that is it. So I'm leaving an assignment. Kindly copy down the assignment before I share the sample. Before I share the sample what? The sample application letter. Okay, the sample formal letter, sorry. So kindly copy that assignment. You can take screenshot. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Let me see what's the time. So I'm giving you up to 3:30 for you to copy that assignment.
Excuse me, madam.
Yes?
There's some hands are up. I don't know if they want to ask questions or...
Okay, I think they might want to ask questions, but let them first copy the assignment up to 3:30, and then after that I will pick the hands. Are you done? Okay, Hannah or Patricia, can we have someone read for us that assignment?
I'm not.
Having completed university with a bachelor's degree in medicine and surgery, you have been looking for a job as a medical worker. On 11th December 2023, the Ministry of Health jobs for medical workers to work in Sure Hospital. Write a human resource clearly stating the reasons why you are the best candidate to work in the hospital.
Wow, thank you so much. So that is our assignment. So you need to do that work so that at least you're able to test yourself to know whether you're able to understand what we've learned today. But let me share a sample. Okay, let me first have questions before I share the sample application.
Tasha, go ahead and ask.
Okay, madam, like for me, my question is, since primary, I've been like, there is a problem, like I have a problem with the format.
Hannah, do you have any questions?
What I know is like after the format, you have the reference, but you didn't give us the reference, you just told us to introduce. Do they have a difference, like reference and introduction?
I think you are not paying attention because I gave the reference. I don't know how many people saw. Hannah, did you see the reference, or Patricia or any other person in class?
Yeah. Yes, teacher.
Madam, sure, me, I didn't see it.
So did you see the reference? So I mentioned that you need a reference. That's what I said. You need an RE, which is the reference.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay, madam.
Okay. Any other question?
Madam,
Yes.
when you're writing the reference, can't you write it in small letters and underline?
You can write it in small letters and underline, but you need to capitalize the keywords.
Okay.
But we discourage students because at times students forget to capitalize the keywords, and at the end of it all, they fail to get that mark for reference. So we encourage students to use only capital letters because you don't need to underline.
Madam,
Yes.
is it fine for us to use the slanting format? For example, when you're writing a formal letter, like we use the slanting format, then we don't what? We don't skip any line after the date or anything.
So you want the address that is supposed to slant is the sender's address. The receiver's address is not supposed to slant. It's only supposed to be in block format.
All right, madam. Thank you.
Techno.
Any other question?
Techno.
There is.
Anything in the chat?
I didn't understand well the reference part 2.
That is the reference.
Okay.
So I said the reference should be in capital letters and not underlined. So we discourage students from using small letters and then underlining it because at times students forget to capitalize the keywords. Like for instance, application for a job as a doctor. So you might forget. That's why we encourage our students to only use capital letters when writing the reference.
Okay, thank you, madam.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's my first day to join.
Wow, we are happy to have you. Any other question?
Madam, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, like I see like some letters, like the reference part, they put RA, while others they put REF. Is there any difference?
No, there's no difference. But for exam purposes, let's use RE. But if you're applying for a job, you can use REF. But we can use RE as a student. REF maybe later on when you're just applying for a job. But for exam purposes, RE.
Okay.
Okay, madam. Yep.
Okay, Madam, for me, my issue is on your slide where the date was. You said we can skip a line after, but for me, I'm always penalized. Like when I skip a line, the teacher will put a red mark there, like drawing something.
Okay. So, depends on who is marking. You can skip a line. No one will penalize you for that. If it is, let me say, if it is UNEB, no one will penalize you for skipping that line. Though we discourage you students from skipping lines. But if you skip a line, still no one will penalize you. Maybe because your teacher wants you to follow the to do the right thing. That is why they penalize you for skipping that line. But all in all, if it is UNEB, no one will penalize you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, madam, my other question is like the reference part still. Like, where do you start writing the reference from? Because for me, in most cases, when I write like the reference from, let me say the margin line, they penalize me. They tell me to write it from where you stop writing the answer from.
Okay, yes, we are going to look at a sample.
Okay.
We are going to look at a sample application letter. And then after that, we shall see whether we've been doing the right thing or not.
Teacher. Teacher?
Yes?
I was asking, after doing this assignment, where are we going to send it? On your inbox?
Yes, my inbox.
Is this the number that you used last time?
Yes, it is. I'm going to share the number after. So when we talk
share.
about a sample application letter, this is a sample formal letter. So let's all go to the first address. That is the first address. I hope you can see my screen very well.
Yes.
Okay, so that is how you're supposed to punctuate. For here you have Christine Watima, comma, P, there's a dot in between, O, P and O, then O and box. So make sure that you have the two dots there, but some of you forget the second dot and only use the first dot. Because that implies that it is short form. Instead of saying post office, we are just saying P-O. And then 1412, comma, Kampala, full stop. Then after that, you have your date, 12th June, comma, 2022, full stop. So that is what we call the sender's address.
The what?
The sender's address.
Okay.
So when you move ahead, as you move, what we have there is what we call the receiver's address. And you can clearly see, class, that it is in block format. It is not slanting. This other date is slanting. You can see Christy, the C, the P, the K. Then for writing the date has to come on the same place where you started the Christine from. That is where the C.
But
yes.
I thought when it's slanting, even where Kampala is, that's where the date has to start, so that they slant.
No, the date is different from the address. So that is the date and the address are different. So the date, you start writing the date from where you started the letter from. You started the address, from. So you can see that there the date is on the same line as Christine, as where the C is. So you go to where the C is, you come down and start writing the date. Kindly take note of that. So the date doesn't slant. It is only the sender's address that slants. Okay, then after that, you move to what we call the receiver's address. So you can see the human resource, comma, friends consult, comma, PO box, that Kampala. So that is what we call the receiver's address. Well punctuated class. Then you have dear sir, comma. Then you can even see the reference. Someone was talking about the reference. You can see that the reference is starting from after salutation. You just go to where that comma, where the comma ends, and then you put there R-E dot. Okay, R-E, sorry, and then you use the colon, application for an internship opportunity. If it was an apology letter, maybe apology for sleeping in class or apology for dodging morning prep, depending on what you are writing. So that is how the address is supposed to look like. Okay, then after that now, can we have someone read for us what we have in the introduction, body, and conclusion?
I hereby apply for an internship opportunity as a software engineer, which was advertised on Google, on
LinkedIn.
I believe that my educational background and freelancing experience make me a highly competitive candidate for this position. For the past 2 years, I have gained hands-on experience in coding and programming, providing solutions in database technology and testing applications. My main responsibility is collaborating with a US-based team to develop a full new website that serves 2.5 million users per month. The biggest accomplishment I have achieved is building and implementing an automated backtracking system, resulting in a 25% reduction in issues reported in the later stages of development. The documents attached are my resume and work portfolio. I look forward to learning more about the software engineering internship program at your company. Thank you for your time and consideration. Yours faithfully.
Consideration. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So this is just a sample. And you can see that anyone really reading this letter will give this person a job or the internship opportunity because of the way the person is expressing themselves, by even giving the experience, what she can do best, and all that. Then after that, after you have written your letter, you sign off. Signing off, like we said, because here we had mentioned, dear sir, I said we use yours faithfully, comma, your signature, and then after that, your name in capital letters. So that is how you sign off. Yes. So I don't know whether we have any question before I stop sharing my screen.
Madam.
Yes.
When you're writing the salutation, what if you don't know the person's gender? What do you do?
If you don't know the person's gender, use dear sir.
What if it's a lady?
You use her name, then ask about her name. You can ask someone for her name.
But if you don't know the gender?
If you don't know the person?
Excuse me,
I have answered that, but I said if you don't know the person, write dear sir. If you know the person, find out the name of the person. Another person, Valeria, I can see your hand is up.
Teacher, you unmuted me.
Okay, kindly go ahead.
Yes, teacher. Teacher, I wanted to inquire on this part of yours faithfully and yours sincerely. Another teacher had complimented nothing and said that it would be better. Actually, they said that they wouldn't mark if you're writing yours sincerely in a formal letter. It's mainly in those of the informal letter. So I wanted to ask you, now, if you know the person's name, because my teacher said that in the formal letter, you'd rather write yours truly than rather write yours sincerely. What is your view on that point?
Okay, I don't know. What I know
Yes.
is that for official letters or for formal letters, you either use yours faithfully or yours sincerely. For official letters or formal letters, I don't know what the rest were told in their different schools. You use yours faithfully or yours sincerely. Yours truly actually comes when you're writing an informal letter. You can look, okay, kindly after the lesson, you go back and read about yours sincerely and yours truly.
Okay.
Then after that, you
I'll get a better
will get
definition.
a
Okay,
clear
teacher.
distinction between the two.
Okay, teacher, thank you so much.
Okay, can we have Tasha? Tasha, go ahead and ask.
Madam, like my question was connected to his, and I think you've answered it. So I'll just go and research.
Okay, thank you so much. Gabriela?
So my question is, in the letter which you've just recently shown us, the first address, the writer's address, there was a name. So if you write the name, the writer's address, do you also put it in the conclusion? I mean, in the signing off.
The signing off, yes, you put it in the signing off. You put it there. Then Daisy.
Madam, like for example, like when you're writing the reference, you can just capitalize the main words, for example, the and the other words. Then our teacher told us that after that you can underline the reference. So I'm
Okay,
wondering,
well, like I said, that some people will tell you to underline when you're using small letters. But when you're using capital letters, you don't need to underline. But I mentioned that for me, I discourage my students from using small letters and underlining. The reason being, sometimes students forget to start the keywords with a capital letter. Like for example, you're writing application, in which application is supposed to start with a capital A. For a job is supposed to start with a capital J. As a doctor is supposed to start with a capital D. So at times students will forget and then write a small d or write a small z and then end up missing the mark. So I encourage my students to just stick to capital letter and that is it. You just write in capital letters and then you don't underline. But other schools will tell you write in small letters and underline. But personally, I discourage my students from using small letters. I encourage them to use capital letters. So it depends.
all right, madam, thank you. But another question.
Yes, Daisy.
That in your letter, I didn't see you skipping any line.
Yes, they said you're not supposed to skip lines. You're supposed to use indented paragraphs. Indented paragraphs are paragraphs whereby you leave some space from the margin, like at least we talk of, I think 1 centimeter. I think 1 centimeter or something like that. So you leave some space from the margin. Then after that, you start. I hereby maybe write, or I am writing to apply for a job as a doctor. So you leave some space from the margin and then you start writing. So you don't skip lines. So in British English, we don't skip lines, but in American English, we skip lines. But because we were colonized by the British, that's why we use their format of writing. We use the British English.
All right, madam, thank you.
You're welcome. Peach?
Okay, thank you, teacher. So my issue is about the length of the letter. Like in most cases, when we have a lot of, let me say, information, and like maybe it's taking a whole page, then yeah, we are done in the conclusion. Then you realize that our, what is it called? Like, okay, like the where like your signature, it goes to the other part of the page. Are we penalized for like breaking the letter, or it should be on just one page?
Actually, even one page is a lot. We are just supposed to use like half a page for writing the letter. There's no need for you to write a lot. Because actually when it comes to the letter, your introduction can actually have 2 lines. Then body maybe 4 or 5 lines. Then conclusion 2 lines. So in total, you can have like around, you have like 3 paragraphs, whereby the first paragraph has your introduction. Then the second paragraph has the body, which has the experience. For instance, when you say that maybe I studied, I did maybe bachelor's, I did maybe a bachelor's degree in maybe actuarial science from Makerere University and finished in the year 2024. Then you can say that maybe I have worked with maybe Stanbic Bank as an accountant, and I believe that maybe the experience I got from Equity makes me the best candidate for this position. So you don't need to, or you can talk about and maybe add and say that I am also I am very confident and I love making friends, or I love socializing. You see? So you're just writing in brief. You're supposed to be brief when you're writing the formal letter. So you can use like 4 lines, then the conclusion, and by conclusion you can even say that attached is my maybe CV or my resume, or if maybe for more information you can contact me on. You can put your email or you can put your telephone numbers. Then you can say that maybe I hope my application will be given positive consideration. You see, you don't need to say a lot. So actually when you speak a lot, that is how you miss on the mark. So you need to be very brief, because remember, if you're applying for a job, so many people might have applied for the same job, and then the people even reading the letters don't have time to read all the application letters. So they look for people that have gone straight to the point. So you need to just be brief.
Okay. Yeah, I've got your point, but at some point, like I'm considering our activities of integrations, where we are always told to write letters. Like even in history, we are told to write a letter like this one. And obviously, history has a lot of like data. So like when you're writing a letter.
Okay, maybe Peach, just to cut you off, when you're writing history will not look at your format of writing the letter. For them, they are looking at the content. We are talking about English language. If it is history, you write your letter, but they are looking, maybe they are telling you to write a letter with the reasons why the Bantu migrated. For history, they will look at their reasons. They look at content, reason. No one will go to your format or what you've done. So they'll look at the reasons why the Bantu migrated. They're looking for the reasons why the Bantu migrated. Well, even it's geography, they're looking for maybe causes of rain. Look for causes of rain. No one is looking at your format. It is what we are doing is English. It's English language.
Madam.
Yes, Daisy.
Madam, is it all right for you to use like the persuasive language, like to speak about the good side of you? Maybe, for example, like your experiences of work, speaking about how good you are.
Yes, it is very okay.
Okay.
It is very okay. Patricia, your hand is up.
Thank you, madam. Okay, madam, on your sample letter, I noticed something on the body. That part, okay, the first paragraph, yeah, it was indented. Okay, like there's a way it was like it has some block format and also it is indented.
Oh. Okay, Patricia, it's because I was using my phone to do that later. So that is how the paragraph, well, that's why you can see that there's space as I was going to the next paragraph. But ideally, you're just supposed to indent your paragraph and you don't skip any line. Barak. Cynthia. Okay, Barak, go ahead. Cynthia?
Teacher was inquiring, is it okay to write your age in the body when you're applying for the job?
Yes, it is okay. You can say I'm 28-year-old Ugandan working with Stanbic Bank. It is okay.
Okay, thank you, madam.
You're welcome. Tasha, your hand is still up?
Yes, madam, like my issue is also about like the length of the what of the letter, and I'm talking about English language, like not history or something else or what, because like this AOI of English that they gave us, and I don't remember clearly what they wanted, but like for you to give the content, it like to someone like myself, like someone like me, I had to write a lot so that I could get the 3.0, you know, like you have to convince the teacher about what you're writing, and now again you're telling me that I have to write something so little. Like I'm actually like now I'm really confused, because like maybe like sometimes when you're writing something, like maybe you're in the AOI and then you write something, you know, maybe you're not believing in yourself that much or something like that, so like you have to know a lot of data and so that you can convince the teacher, you understand, eh?
Okay. So, you people, let me tell you something. When it comes to English language, it doesn't mean that if you write too much, you convince the teacher. It's not like the old curriculum where we tell people to write a composition or maybe 2 pages for them to get marks. No. With English language, impression. You can even write so much, but there's nothing you have actually written. So, are you able to impress the teacher when you're writing? How do you impress the teacher? Using similes, use metaphors, use idioms, use new words. So impress the teacher. You can write little, but but after you have impressed the teacher by using the different similes, like language. When I told you about language, use the correct tense, have the right spellings, have the right punctuations, use different sentence structures. Even when you're writing an official letter, like an application letter, you can tell the person that if you give me this job, I promise to work as fast as a B. You see? Or I am a B when it comes to doing my work. That is a metaphor. You're telling the person that you do your work very, very fast. You can even talk about that. My excellent communication skills make me the best candidate for this position. You see, you're not just saying that my good communication skills make me the best candidate for this position, but you're going beyond just the usual basic English to picking new words or using vocabulary to be able to impress. So don't think that when you write a lot, you impress. No. Use new words, use vocabulary, use similes, use idioms, use wise sayings and all those things so that you're able to impress whoever is marking.
Okay.
Okay, I am seeing someone is here in my inbox telling me to wind up. If you feel you're tired, kindly you can leave the class and leave those that want to study to study. So patients, we are looking at writing a formal letter. And then some of you are thanking me for the lesson. Thank you so much for appreciating. You're not like others who are telling me, like one who is telling me to wind up in the lesson. If you're tired, you just log. No one has forced you to be here. Has anyone forced you to be here? No, it's voluntary. And I'm actually also not being paid. So I am also doing voluntary work. So if you feel like you don't want to be in this class, it's very easy. You just leave the class and leave those who want to study to study. Okay. So you're welcome. I don't know, Patricia and Hannah, do you have anything in your inbox? Patricia, your hand is up.
No, teacher, I don't have anything in my inbox.
Okay. Patricia, your hand is up. Okay. All right. So I think Patricia has failed to maybe her network or something. So I wish you the best. Could we have someone? Thank you so much for appreciating, Bridget. Thank you everyone who is appreciating. I am getting Bambi. Thank you so much. You make me feel so good, Bambi. Thank you. Wow. Thank you, Cynthia, for the drink. I will enjoy it. All right. So can we have someone give us a word of prayer as we close? I am seeing hands up. Okay, Mulunji, Favor. Favor, you can pray. Favor, I've asked you to unmute. You can unmute and pray.
Okay, let's humble ourselves and pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time, and we thank you for the lesson you have had. For many of us had misconceptions and things that were confusing us, but we thank you for you brought your angel to guide us and to teach us. We thank you and we ask you that you bless her in all she does. And we pray that whatever she has taught will remain stuck in our brains, that it will enable us answer our activities of integration, our exams at school. And we pray that it will continue being helpful in our lives. In Jesus' name I prayed and believed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Favor.
You're welcome.
All right, class. Bye. My regards to your parents and take care of yourselves.